the gods might have left the great religions and have grown very tired in the great religions, and where else would the gods go in a world of engines and machines but into places like this, where you don't hear the sound of an engine, where the landscape isn't dominated by human activity.
This is real desert imagery, isn't it? It's a hardy tree growing in an oasis. Oh wow. There's a rosary beads hanging down there, almost as if they're growing. And I suppose I was expecting something more pagan.
Well, the whole thing is pagan, but it is Christian also. It is both. St. Patrick blessed the wells. So Christians would also come here looking for favours from the divine and leave an icon of the Virgin or an icon of the Christ or a rosary beads behind.
It's intriguing because it's taken us hours to find the place. It's not marked on the map. There are no signs on the road. It's a hell of a walk to get here, but obviously other people are coming here.
But you see, this earth here, a native North American Indian would say it's big medicine. I mean, we have come to a well that is big medicine. The earth isn't just an economic proposition of New York lawyers buying and selling land they never stood on or they never crossed into. I mean, the earth is big medicine.
There'll be a lot of people who hear us talking and say, well, you know, they're talking about superstitions. We grew out of that stuff in the Dark Ages. We're more enlightened now. What do you say to people?
The European Enlightenment ended in the mud of Flanders. The European Enlightenment was a catastrophe. Our Enlightenment has walked us into 2 world wars. We are now the rational beings that we are. We are now AIDS virus to the earth. We are doing to the earth what the AIDS virus does to the human body. We are breaking down the immune system of the earth. Why put a ruler to this? Why measure and quantify this? This is immeasurable and unquantifiable. The universe isn't quantity and it isn't measure. It is most marvellously infinite. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven and a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. I mean, allow yourself to be romantic. Be a Dylan Thomas-like, you know, sing your song under milk wood. If your milk wood is below where your mother came from, that's your milk wood. Sing your under milk wood song.
So there you have it. Abroad is home, Catholic is pagan, and poetry is prose. I love the contradictions of Ireland, like warm sun on cold stone.
And I like that positive attitude, the way no one wants to tell you no. When I was driving around with John Moriarty, we stopped to ask directions of this old country boy, and we said, we're looking for St. Coleman's Well. And he said, ah, yes. And we said, do you know it? He said, sure, I do. So we said, could you tell us how to get there? And he took a long pause and said, what country's it in?
Contact details for the religions and beliefs featured in this programme and the last series of Desperately Seeking Something can be found on a special Channel 4 poster. To order, call 0897 188 177 and the price, £2, will be added to your phone bill.
Next week, in the last programme of the series, the unacceptable face of the occult, or just a bit of harmless fun in the woods. Chaos magic.
Walk the labyrinth. Deep in the labyrinth. Now you're in the labyrinth. You're in the labyrinth. Again.
When I first set out on this journey, we had 2 principal rules. The first was that everything we shot would be spontaneous and as it happened. Nothing would be staged. We only broke this rule on one occasion, when the camera failed at a crucial point during a pagan ritual. We tried to do it again, only this time the lights failed. On the third occasion, camera and lights went down simultaneously. Bizarre coincidence? Demonic intervention? Trans-dimensional vibrational synchronicity? Or a flat battery? I leave you to decide. The second rule was that we would avoid the mainstream religions because everyone knows, more or less, what they're about. But then we stumbled across an avowedly Christian sect whose sacred artifacts included a Buddha, a Statue of Liberty, and a garden gnome. It's Christianity, Jim, but not as we know it. In fact, it's the Summit Lighthouse. It's in the East End of the City of London, and even on a hot summer's night, it's worth walking past the pub to get to.
The Summit Lighthouse teaches that God can be experienced by invoking the violet flame. One way of doing this is by decreeing or chanting.
London is a city of violet fire. London is the purity God desires.
The lighthouse was started in 1958 by an American called Mark Prophet, with a PH, who claimed to be a living saint. When he died, his wife Elizabeth took over. She receives dictation from the Archangel Gabriel, which she videotapes and sends round the world.
I am here, I am smiling, for I have found my troops. You are it, beloved ones. You are they. You are we. You are all of us. We are going forward together in divine justice.
I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame to light alone I vow. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic power. I am the light of God, shining every hour. I am the violet flame, blazing like the sun. I am the sacred power, freeing everyone.
Right. The violet flame is an aspect of, in Christian terminology, we'd call it the Holy Spirit. Some people, because of the mundane nature of some Christian churches, have a problem with using the term Holy Spirit. So sometimes I simply say it's the seventh ray energy of God.
Ho, ho, ho! The happier we get, the closer we get to the seventh ray. Here we are. Ho, ho, ho! Here we are. Ho, ho, ho! Here we are. Thrust home, I say. Thrust home to the heart of every heart in the universe. For the violet flame will purify your hearts. It will make of your heart a purple fiery heart. It will dissolve the hearts of the wicked, whereby they may become converted, beloved ones. And if they are not converted, they will be perverted forevermore and bound and taken to the gourd of the sacred fire.
They listen to Strauss because the 3/4 time of the Trish Trash Polka is thought to embody the essence of the violet flame, suggesting that Johann himself might have been a believer.
I perfectly accept that there are plenty of ways up that mountain. It just depends how quickly and how direct you want to go. That's, for me, one of the fundamentals of what we do. It's a very individual path. Josephine's path is different to mine because we have different karma.
There are many levels in the heaven world. 18, I believe, is the correct figure. Oh, it's 33, sorry. It's 33 above.
Perhaps it's because they're dealing in potentially confusing metaphysical concepts that they have such enthusiasm for statistics and percentages.
You've got karma. We all have. That's why we're here. And we have to balance that karma to 51%. And if you invoke the violet flame, you clear up the karma, you raise your consciousness higher and higher, so that there is a chance that even if you didn't make 51%, your soul is in a better condition the second time round.
I'm going to introduce you to my best friend, yeah? It's Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is a very important part of our teaching because it's the archangel that we call upon for protection. And I need my auric field protected. So I need that blue energy field of Archangel Michael. I need the energy that he brings. And I do that by calling to Archangel Michael each day as a presence, as a physical energy field.